In education, creating effective policies and programs is crucial for student success. But how do policymakers know if a new initiative truly makes a difference? Randomized controlled trials, or RCTs, are considered the gold standard in research, providing robust and causal evidence on what works. By using RCTs, policymakers can rely on scientifically tested methods to make decisions that directly impact students and the future of education. RCTs are like experiments designed to uncover the true impact of an educational program or policy. Here's how they work. Random assignment. Participants are randomly divided by the researchers into two groups: the treatment group, which receives the intervention, and the control group, which does not. Random assignment ensures that both groups are in equal expectation. This means that without the treatment, the groups would have very similar outcomes. We do this so any outcome differences can be attributed to the intervention itself. Intervention and observation. The treatment group experiences the new program or policy, while the control group continues as usual. Then, researchers monitor both groups to capture the outcomes. Comparison. Finally, researchers compare the results between the two groups to see if the intervention had a real, measurable impact. This comparison helps eliminate bias and shows if the intervention works as intended. As the randomization was random and organized by the researcher, the difference in outcome can be interpreted as a causal effect of the treatment. To see an RCT in action, let's look at a study conducted by the Horizon Europe Effect team. Researchers wanted to understand if providing information on financial aid could influence students' higher education decisions. They randomly assigned students to different groups and provided each with varying levels of information. The results were compelling. Students who received financial aid information were more likely to consider attending higher quality institutions. This kind of evidence offers policymakers reliable insights on how targeted information can shape students' futures. In another example, researchers from the Horizon Europe Effect team tested adding lessons about mental shortcuts or heuristics to a financial education curriculum in Belgium. They compared the performance of three groups: a group with traditional financial education, a group with traditional education plus new lessons on heuristics, and a control group which did not have any financial education. Interestingly, while traditional financial education increased financial literacy, adding heuristics content didn't show the same improvement. This RCT helped policymakers understand that not all additions to curricula yield positive results. Why are RCTs so valuable to policymakers? First, RCTs provide confidence. Policymakers can invest in programs backed by strong, causal evidence, which increases the likelihood of success. Nevertheless, RCTs have a strong internal validity, but a low external validity. This means that we should always examine carefully the conditions in which the RCT took place, and not blindly copying the treatment. Second, if we first assess the impact of a policy on a small scale using RCTs, before we implement the policy on a large scale, we can mitigate risk by identifying ineffective initiatives before resources are wasted. This results in a more efficient and effective educational policy. Finally, RCTs promote data-driven decision-making by providing policymakers with clear data on what works, allowing them to choose the best policies for achieving educational goals. While RCTs provide valuable insights, they come with certain limitations. First, cost and time can be significant barriers. RCTs require careful planning, resources, and follow-up, which can be challenging for institutions with limited budgets or pressing deadlines. Nevertheless, the various RCTs conducted by the Horizon Europe Effect team show that small-scale RCTs are not overly time and cost-intensive and are definitely feasible. Second, RCTs sometimes face ethical considerations. For example, withholding a potential beneficial intervention from a control group raises ethical questions, especially when a study involves critical areas like academic support. To avoid this, the effect researchers often work with waitlist control groups, where the control group receives the intervention after the study period. This approach helps ensure that all participants eventually benefit from the intervention, addressing ethical concerns while still maintaining the integrity of the research. Lastly, generalizability can be an issue. Because RCTs are often conducted in specific environments, their findings may not apply broadly across different regions or student populations. Variation in school settings, Teaching methods and cultural factors can influence how applicable the results are to a wider audience. To address this, the effect researchers conduct replication studies in diverse settings to test the robustness of their findings. Additionally, combining RCTs with other research methods, such as qualitative studies or observational research, can provide a more comprehensive understanding of the intervention's impact across different contexts. In the complex world of education, RCTs empower policymakers to make informed, evidence-based decisions that lead to real improvement for students. By relying on RCTs, we can ensure that educational resources are directed towards programs that truly make a difference, building a brighter future for all students.